Hello everyone, I'm Jonas. I came here from Lithuania and I came here to talk about GameOn and talk about Baltic gaming scene and how it came to be, how we made something happen in Lithuania and how can we make something together in the Baltics. To give you a short introduction of myself, I was working as a journalist in one of the passion projects covering the eSports part, and later, for the past 2 years, I've been working as leading the GameOn event. So, have anybody been in GameOn event? Yay! And is there anybody who haven't heard anything about GameOn? Okay, so we're doing a pretty bad job in Estonia then. So, for you guys to see, I'll just play a short video so you can see what it is like and what's happening there.
Oh shit. What? No.
Can't do a show without technical difficulties, right?
Oh shit. Locked in the system. Seems good anyways. Scooter.
It's a very quiet show, GameOn. No?
Everyone's a mute. She was there. Wait.
So that's GameOn, and this is how it looked last.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's how it looked last year, back in 2016. We had it on October 29th to 13th, and it was for 2 days, and we had over 14,000 visitors, as well as over 100 partner companies joining us. But the bad thing that it wasn't always like this. And to talk a bit about what shared history we do have in the Baltics is that we were oppressed for over 50 years all the Baltic countries. And while the gaming industry in the world was moving further, we were stuck, and we started with around 20 years of disadvantage. And the global industry had over 20 years head start, and it was already an industry of over $20 billion when we started at least doing something. And when the gaming industry started to pick up in the Baltics, we also had this problem that it wasn't socially acceptable to be a gamer. It was due to the reason that we seen gaming as a waste of time, as a bad influence thing. And basically, if you were a gamer, everyone was telling you to go do something seriously. Because if you're gaming, you're wasting your time, and basically you were a bad person. So we all had to hide in the basements because due to social exception. But then, moving around 15 years further, we had a mobile revolution, which enabled some game development studios to build up. And now in Lithuania we have over 40 of these, and the mobile revolution really helped with that because anyone could become a developer, and it was much easier, and basically anybody could create a game for big audiences. You didn't need a team of hundreds of people to create something big. You could have a team of 2 or 3 people, or you could be maybe a standalone developer and create a game. So going further, so what do we have right now in Lithuania? So one thing we do have is we have one big game development studio, which is called Nordcurrent. They have this huge title, Cooking Fever, which is downloaded on iOS over 100 million times. They have over 200 employees. As well, they're working with names like Football Club Barcelona, Kardashians, and so you can imagine how big is it. Another thing we do have is the Lithuanian Game Developers Association established. So the association unites over 40 game developers, as well as 400 people working in the gaming industry. Another good thing that we have is the universities have started to pick up lectures or topics on game development, so you can basically go to university and learn how to develop your game and how to do it properly. And another interesting thing that now one of the universities is thinking not only to start a game development topic, but also add gaming as a social topic. So that's the really interesting part. Also, we have a eSports league launched just last year, which is in cooperation with TV3. So this is one of the biggest entertainment channels in Lithuania. They did a live stream of Intel Extreme Masters Katowice on their sub-channel TV6, casted by Lithuanian casters. They did both League of Legends and CSGO tournaments, so that was really big announcement for all the Lithuanian gamers. Also have a info show and party which is taking place for 15 years now. For the past 3 years, it took place in famous Kaunas Sports Hall, which was built between World War I and World War II. So it's a legendary basketball venue, and I think you know how passionate Lithuanians are about basketball. So the first time it happened in the Kaunas Sports Hall, there was really huge attention from the media that the games are taking over the sports places. So basically changing the sports with new one. Of course, we have a GameOn event, which is the biggest industry event in the Baltics. And yeah, as I mentioned, we had over 14,000 people last year, and for the first 3 years, we had a 7,000 people and a totally sold out venue. So it looks pretty okay now. And while talking about GameOn, so I want to talk on how it came to be and what we see now, what it helped to change in the mindset of people regarding gaming. So in 2014, it was the first time I was visiting IEM Katowice, and when I see what was happening there, it was an amazing event, and I really recommend you to go there next year. As far as you know, it also will take place in Katowice. It's not really so far away, and it's totally worth it to see what's happening there. And after I saw that, I set a goal for myself to bring something like this in Lithuania. Because I always wanted to do something with gaming, but I had no idea what it was. And after I visited IEM, I said, well, I'm bringing this to Lithuania one way or another. So, and it happened, the thing which happened is that after the year, the Lithuanian Game Developer Association was approached by the Siemens Arena, the place where the first GameOn happened, and they asked them to do some kind of event. So we got connected, and we had no idea how should we do it or what can we do. So, but we still said, okay, fuck it, let's do it. We don't know shit about it, but let's go. And when we started doing it, we felt that there's a huge passion from the community leaders for such thing to happen. Because the only event we had before that was the LAN party, and it was like a more hardcore gamers. But we really felt from the community, community leaders, that this thing has to happen, and a lot of people were giving away their spare time, which they could spend playing or doing other stuff, being with families, etc., just to contribute to the event, which would basically transform the gaming industry in Lithuania. Also, what it changed, what GameOn changed after it happened, the thing on how people view a gaming industry, because they saw how many people were there. For a start, when we started doing our first event, and we came to some partners, and we said like, okay, we're making a gaming event with 5,000 people, and they said, no, that's not going to happen, that's impossible, you cannot find that much gamers in Lithuania. And after we had 7,000 people for the first year, it totally blew not only our mind, but their mind too. So just after the first event, we received some calls from the partners who haven't joined us, and they said we want to be there next year. So the perception really changed. One of the retail chains have launched even a separate GameOn PC. So more and more people realize how big gaming is getting, and how can it make them money or have an impact. Also, GameOn helped to change the eSports scene a bit. For the first event, we had over 400 CSGO teams participating in our event just from the Baltics. So we've seen how big is the scene. And talking about eSports in Baltics, we had some ups and downs, because when the eSports scene really started to boom in around 2007, 2008, we were there. We had our ESL, Electronic Sports League, at the very beginning. We had the right people in the scene, I mean the pro players. We had a League of Legends player, Karalius. We're one of the few nations that had our own national team participating in League of Legends World Championship Finals, although they won only one game, but still. We had an eSports bar in Kaunas, so everything was looking great, but the problem was there was bad people behind all this, and basically they screwed everything up. And as for eSports, no one wanted to look at the scene anymore from the partners, from sponsors, from brands. because the prize money was not paid up. There were some stolen prizes, there were some bad rumors. So yeah, we had this downfall. But in GameOn, we've seen that it really starts to change, because more and more people want to get involved in the esports industry. All the marketing guys sees esports as a great way to reach the millennials, and we not only see that we're talking to them, but we see it globally. We have a separate conferences in USA where they are talking on how to engage into esports market. So we believe it will get better, and it starts to get better. Yeah, so what do we need now, and what can we do? What can every one of us do to keep the industry growing in the Baltics, and to change, to finalize the change of the people mindsets towards gaming? First of all, what do we need to do is we need to separate what we think is a local scene and what we think is a Baltic scene. So one thing I think we should definitely do is to unify the esports league for Baltics, because this would result in much greater numbers of people participating in various tournaments, and this could just help every one of us to build the relationship with the brands, which we really need. Another thing we need to do is to share knowledge between our game developers communities, because we're quite separate now. I mean, the Lithuanian, Latvian, and Estonian, we have our very own events, but we rarely invite people from other countries to join and to share the knowledge we do have, and that's the thing we really need to do. Of course, on a local level, we need to work with universities, we need to work with governmental institutions and change the mindset of people sitting there, so they could see how big gaming is. Because now, yeah, we know how big it is, and we know the worth of the industry, but we need to spread the word on how could people engage into that industry. Of course, we need right people working in that, and we need right people working not only in gaming industry, but in the other areas as well. I mean, especially I'm talking about marketing people, where they should realize, and we should tell them how big gaming is, and we should educate them to see how many people are there, and so we get a mutual benefits from that. And we need to be ambitious. We need to set goals for ourselves and to see how can we reach them, and how to do that. And another thing we need to do is we need to stop being gamers for once. And what I mean by that is we need to have a healthy competition. I mean, as a gamers, we always want to be first in everything. But and if other guy is first in front of you, well, he's probably a bad person. He's no lifer. He has no life for whatever reasons. So we have to realize that we have to not only to compete, but also to communicate and to share knowledge and to share contacts and to share the things we want to do and the things we are doing. And we need to realize that the power really comes in numbers. So for finishing my presentation, what I wanted you to bring out of this is that we need to realize that every one of you is an ambassador for gaming industry, and you don't need to be working in a big studio or own a website or, I don't know, be a pro player or whatever. You can contribute just by doing some small steps in your community. So that is maybe starting a blog, starting a website, starting your streaming channel on Twitch, maybe make a blog on YouTube or whatever. So you need to realize that sometimes you have to stop playing to give back to the industry and to make something great happen. So my small step was GameOn, and you can decide what's yours by yourself. So thank you.
Hey guys, so do you have any questions? Any questions from our crowd?
When's the next game
It's on September 16th to 17th
Wait, what?
in 2017.
So, but like, how big was the previous event? Like, how many visitors did you have?
It was 14,000.
14,000 visitors, yeah. And like, how is GameOn as an event kind of perceived in Lithuania? Like MängudeÖÖ, for example, this event, it is in Estonia like relatively well known amongst gamers, but for example, mainstream media usually does not really cover it. So is this different with GameOn in Lithuania?
Yeah, so the one thing I really forgot to mention is what we did, we separated the audiences we want to reach. Yes, core gamers, of course, is one of them. But also we had separated the families that we really want to reach, because we believe that one thing what has to be done is gaming has to become a family entertainment thing. So families was one thing. Another thing which we did is we gathered a lot of influencers, but not only in gaming, not only YouTubers, Twitchers, but the same thing you guys are doing this year with Comedy Estonia?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the first year, we also invited comedians from Lithuania who have hundreds of thousands of followers on Facebook, whose videos have hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. So we invited them to participate, and the thing which we did for the first year and for the second year is we had them playing games. We showed that these people, these famous people, are playing games, and that really helps to change the mindset. So first year we had the Counter-Strike tournament, which they played, and last year we had an NBA 2K tournament where famous people, musicians, influencers played once against each other.
Cool. All right, we have a couple of questions.
I saw people doing musical acts in the trailer. Do you have some musical acts in the GameOn? Are you planning something for the next year?
Yeah, so last year we had these musicians playing a Star Wars music, and what we are doing this year is actually a really interesting thing. So for the first time in the Baltics, we're going to have a live orchestra playing music from different video games. So it's basically a video games live, but in GameOn. So that's really what I'm really personally looking forward, because they will have a Lineage 2 track playing. So.
Cool. So, all right, guys, give it up for Jonas. A round of applause.